Today I'd like to share with you about the coffee we serve at Suan Sook homestay, where it comes from and who grows it. There's a great story behind it. We buy it from Lazy Man Coffee in Nong Tao on Doi Inthanon. I found some photos recently I'd taken up there 20 years ago when I was working with an organisation producing materials to help teach about growing coffee. About 5 years ago we revisited Nong Tao and built a relationship with Kun Suwet and the people up there, and so today I've made a video about how Kun Suwet and his family grow coffee and their Karen culture that surrounds us.
I would like to talk about Lazy Man Coffee. So as a Karen culture, actually coffee is not our part of the culture. Maybe just started about 20-30 years, but coffee planted since my father generation is about 40-50 years ago. So at the beginning, we know coffee because of some of the missionary that stay around the mountain area, and they already love coffee, but during their stay in the mountain area with the Karen people, so actually they don't have, maybe because of they don't have enough coffee to drink, so that's why they also brought coffee seeds from the origin place and then start planted here. So when I was a childhood, we have some coffee that planted in our area. So maybe I remember that coffee Robusta. So it's like a big plant, and then we can climb. I remember. Then later, the Highland research project and also like Highland develop project. They try to encourage people here to plant coffee as well. So part of the generate income. Since after opium planted in mountain area in Thailand North. So that's why the Highland project try to replace opium field. But actually I also would like to tell you that opium is not our traditional culture. Opium also relocate from South China. So that's why we know opium. Actually we are really rice culture. But then later coffee getting more, favorite popular in Thailand, in every part of, in a corner. So that's why I was started about almost 12 years ago. I was started to learn how to process coffee, learn how to make coffee here. Like the whole process, like planted, processing, hulling, selecting green bean and also roast bean. Actually, I'm not coffee lover. I also not coffee culture, but at that time, about 12 years ago, I was worried about the agriculture situation in this area because of the also like monocrop like corn, also introduced in this area. And then I was thinking, if our people we turn into monocrop like corn, so maybe we will decreasing or disappear our diversity, because we really appreciate like diversity and respecting nature, but having monocrop is not our suitable in our culture. So that's what, because my father also, he really loved to keep diversity. For example, in this garden we have almost 80 different varieties of the plant, of the fruit, vegetable, everything grow together. and also coffee also we planted there. So this is part of the beginning of our journey. So I try to learn, really focus and try to learn like serious learning how to process coffee because I want to keep diversity, not like turn into another monocrop, monoculture. So that beginning of our, and then I also represent, this is the first I design the a logo of the Lazy Man Coffee. You can see Lazy Man Coffee is the theme is slow down for the earth. We know everywhere around the world we like industrial oriented and also money oriented. Everyone try to work hard that they can meet their need or maybe according to many people, like if you successful, you have to work hard, you have to get rich. But in current culture, we are a little bit different. We are not really appreciate people work too hard and get too rich. We more like our culture is a sharing, sharing with other people, and then keep sound diversity of nature. For example, this is the designing of the photo. One person in the story in the Lazy Man Coffee. There are one lazy boy sleeping under the trees, and at the tree also. This is the spiritual tree. We call depotu. But because in current culture, for the newborn baby, we put the umbilical cord into bamboo, and then we choose one tree, and then the tree become a spirit tree of the baby. And also we believe on 37 spirit. 5 spirit belong to a person, but 32 belong to nature, wild animal. So this is part of the system that, okay, if we want to live balance or maybe harmony with nature, we really need to appreciate and respect nature. We will try to not think nature is our position, but we live together. We respect. We belong to nature. We drink from water. We need to take care of water. We eat from the soil. We need to take care of the land. This is part of the current philosophy in our culture. So that's why we don't really have to work hard all the time. Sometimes maybe planting, cultivating, and harvest, and then we can live following nature, seasonal, not like always like aggressive work hard all the time. So this is part of the Lazy Man Coffee. At the beginning, so that's why I started coffee, because coffee is planted between many kind of trees, many kind of plants, can stay together, and then we can harvest following coffee season. Also the rest of the time, we can also harvest many different things following the whole year. So that's why our coffee, we try to keep diversity, not mono crop like other cash crop. So this is how we start our coffee. We are very small scale farming, and very like we don't really use chemical fertilizer, chemical herbicide. We just let chicken, pig, they enjoy staying in our coffee area. So that's why. And then one day in time, coffee is bear fruit, coffee flowering, and then finally we can also harvest coffee. Maybe not a big quantity, but we can see that this is part of the beautiful how to live with nature. That's why I would like to introduce our Lazy Man Coffee. It's a part of society, small, but beautiful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Look,
ตับลือเออ